Welcome to Quick Bytes, the lunchtime live stream with your tech integration specialist, Scott Conway. Welcome and thank you for joining me today on this episode of Quick Bytes. We're going to discuss some of the upcoming feature releases for Google Meet, some of which have already actually rolled out, but some that are obviously also going to be upcoming in the next month or at latest by the end of this quarter. Before we go any further, I do want to remind people that we have the chat questions out to the right-hand side. If you have any questions, please post them during the session and we'll try to get to them before the end of our little episode. So without further ado, let's get right into the Google Meet features that are rolling out, or at least have already rolled out. So far, the one that has come to pretty much everybody has been the tiled view. And this allows you to kind of see more people at any one given time on your Meet session. Also currently rolling out are the host controls. And excuse me, these are going to give you some greater detail or greater granular control with regard to who you let in, how you let them in, and we'll go into a little bit more detail on that as well. Also rolling out right now is the blur background feature, which I have seen on some accounts and I haven't seen on others. I know I'm still waiting on this one myself. Knock block is another one that I think is going to come later this month or by the end of the quarter. I haven't really seen much or many accounts with that as of yet. And then breakout rooms, which I know a lot of people are waiting for. And there is an extension, a third-party extension that exists right now for that. But the breakout rooms that everyone's waiting for is the one that's being pushed out by Google themselves to be built into directly to the platform of Google Meet. But there is a big caveat to all of this. That breakout rooms is not going to be on the free version of Google Meet. So unless you are an enterprise for EDU license holder, your district or your school district may not get that feature. So you may have to, for the short term, use or continue to use the third-party extension with Google Meet, even when this breakout rooms kind of rolls out. So just wanted to make mention of that. Okay, so let's dive right into tiled view. This is the one that came out first. Most people have it at this point, and it does allow you to see up to 49 tiles in your view, in your Google Meet. Once you kind of go into the settings menu for your Google Meet, go up to layout and you'll change it and you can specifically say tiled view. And then at the bottom, you'll see there is a slider. You can drag it all the way over to 49. However, please be aware that the size of your screen will dictate how many tiles you actually see. So if you're working with a 27-inch flat panel screen, yeah, you might get up to 49. But if you're working on a small Chromebook, maybe an 11-inch screen, you're probably not going to see all 49. You might be able to see 16. You might not even be able to see that. It depends. The other thing you want to keep in mind is that if you are presenting, if you're the teacher and you're presenting from your Google Meet, the presentation is going to open and it's going to force you into sidebar layout. So your presentation will open on the left-hand side and you'll see even fewer tiles on the right-hand side. That is something that is kind of forced when you do go to present your screen. So tiled view is out there right now. Again, the settings menu, go up to change layout and you can force into the tiled view and slide over to increase the number of tiles you see at any one given time. Host controls, this is also pretty prevalent right now. I have seen most accounts with this available, but this allows for a couple different things. They're all packed into this one setting, and you'll see it if you do have host controls. You'll see it in the lower left-hand corner, like the screenshot shows you, of your Google Meet, just to the right of your Google Meet session name. And it's a blue shield with a lock in the icon. And there's a couple things this allows. First of all, quick access. This removes the need for anyone to admit an uninvited participant. So as you can see, when this is turned off, everyone who isn't invited must ask to join. So if you have quick access turned on, uninvited users or people outside the domain, if you're working in a school district, are not going to have to ask to join that meet. So it's It's a way, I know a lot of people that were using Google Meet for parent conferences or open house night. Gave the Google Meet link, but then the teacher, before they can actually start their session, has to allow every single parent into the Google Meet, and quick access removes that functionality. So you don't have to manually admit all of your participants. So that's a great feature, especially if you're going to have parents kind of join your session or someone outside your domain. Screen sharing. You can either toggle this on or toggle this off, and that will either allow participants to share their screen. So if you want students to share their screen during the Google Meet session, you can either turn that on, or if you don't and you want to ensure that it doesn't happen, then you can turn it off. And same is true for chat. If you want to turn chat on or you turn chat off, you have that toggle button right there. Again, click on the little host control button or icon in the lower left-hand corner, and you'll have your host controls available to you. Moving into background blur, this is now available to some. I know it's kind of rolling out, as does many of the feature updates from Google. They roll out kind of in a phased approach, and some users within one domain will get the ability to do this, and others may not. As I mentioned before, I'm still waiting for it, so we'll see. But this is through the settings menu, lower right-hand corner, the three dots, go up to turn on or turn off background blur, and it just allows you to replace your background with a blurred kind of image of what is behind you, just blurred, so you really can't see what's going on. Now, this is not so much for the teacher who is necessarily in the classroom. If the teacher's at home, or the students at home, it's really meant to kind of make the individual more comfortable with their surroundings and not necessarily embarrassed to bring their camera on because of what might be behind them, either statically or dynamically, whatever is happening in the background. If we can blur the background, it will help encourage people feeling more comfortable in joining that meet and participating, therefore, obviously, in the synchronous session that might be taking place. So if you haven't got it yet, keep your eyes peeled. Turn background blur on is coming, and it will be here shortly for everybody. Knock block. This is one that hasn't been talked about or mentioned, I think, a whole lot, but it is a kind of an important feature that is going to be coming soon. And this allows the host to prevent a user from joining if they've already been denied twice. So if you've got students in your Google Meet session and a student is acting up or doing something inappropriate and you remove them, excuse me, I got to back up. That is a feature. If you eject a user, I'm getting ahead of myself. If you do eject a user, it does prevent them from joining or rejoining that session. So if a student is in your session already and does something inappropriate, you eject them, it prevents them from rejoining. You can, however, override that. You have to manually and personally invite that user back in by their account name, and that will allow them to override that. All right, backtracking a little bit. This is someone from outside your invited group, your invitation, someone that didn't get an invitation or is outside the domain or outside your group. If they attempt to join your meet and you deny them once and they try to join again by asking if they can enter and you deny them a second time, they are no longer able to join or at least even prompt you or ask you to join. So the nuisance stops at that point. So that is knock block. It is two-part. Again, it's denying people that you've, or it's preventing people from entering or asking to join if you've denied them twice already. And if you have to eject a participant, they can no longer get back in automatically. You'd have to manually and personally invite them. So that is the purpose of knock block. Breakout rooms. This is the last one I want to talk about, and this is the one that, again, is not free. So I know there's been a lot of talk about breakout rooms, and everybody really seems to want it. It is coming. It is going to be available soon. However, it will only be available to enterprise for EDU licensed customers. So if your district is not paying for the EDU licenses, then this will not come out to your district. It just allows the host to facilitate separate and smaller sessions within the main session. That's really it is. And this is kind of the screenshot you see here is what it will probably look like when it does launch. It can be done right now. It's just really clunky. You have to set up one session and you have to set up other multiple smaller sessions, and you have to make sure everyone has all the Meet links and everything, and you got to time it out so everybody comes and goes when they need to. This breakout rooms, once it's built right in, obviously you can see it'll have a timer, it'll have a shuffle feature, so you can kind of group students together and shuffle them up if necessary. It just facilitates it a lot easier than having to do this manually. So this is something that will be coming out soon. I know our district happens to be an EDU license customer. However, because everyone has kind of rushed to get the EDU licenses, they're backed up, and the licenses haven't necessarily rolled out just yet. So we are still waiting to get our licenses. And once that happens, then we expect obviously to get the benefits of that. And this is one of them. So keep your eyes peeled for breakout rooms. If you are a district that is not going to purchase the enterprise or EDU licenses, then there is a third-party extension. I have not tried it personally, but I have talked to several people who have. It is working well at this point in time. But I will just caution you, as I have said in other sessions or episodes, that extensions are third party. They are not written by Google, and oftentimes can be the cause of problems with the Chrome browser. So if at some point Google rolls out breakout rooms and you're having issues and you have that third party extension installed, to maybe temporarily disable it to see if that fixes the problem. And if it does, then that may be the culprit. So just be careful with extensions. There have been some Google Meet extensions in the recent past that have caused problems and have had to be rewritten or removed altogether because they were problematic. So just be careful of that. So I don't see any questions coming in. That's the end of my demo today, or discussion about the upcoming Google Meet features. Again, you probably have some of them, if not all of them. And if you don't just yet, just wait, sit tight. They will be coming probably by the end of October, if not by the end of November. Thank you.